Okay, so we're going to react to Reactbot Dating Simulator today. It's a fun little game that I think you're going to like. It's very fun. I'm just going to put this on auto. Let's see, get the preferences, get my time all super fast, and we're going to react to this. Now, something I want to talk about is this story that happened to me like many years ago back when I worked in fast food. I guess you could call it a Karen story. So, one time I was in the back making food, right? And then this woman, came through the drive through and she ordered like a burger, onion rings, and a drink. Now the thing is, at this restaurant, we made all the onion rings like in the morning, but by around like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, most days, if it was busy, we'd run out of onion rings, right? So most customers were understanding of that, and some of them were mad, but they didn't, escalate it at all because there wasn't really much they could do. But this one woman, she was pretty mad. So she heard that she couldn't get her onion rings, and she was like, "What?" And then she drove really fast up to the drive through window. And when she did, she started like banging on the window. And then the cashier went up to her and she's like, "Ma'am, what's the problem?" And she's like, "You don't have onion rings." And we explained, well, what I just explained. And then she said, "I don't care. Make some onion rings right now. I want onion rings." And then the cashier was like, "Well, no one here right now knows how to make onion rings." And she said, "Well, learn how to do it and make them. I work for head office and I can get all of you fired if you don't make me onion rings right now." And then the cashier, she closed the door on the lady after saying like, "Well, good luck with that. Do that." And then we were like, "Yeah, that woman's crazy." So then the woman went up front and she parked her car up front, and then she comes storming in there like this kind of with her like little kid like following behind her. And the thing is, like, she's like, she started screaming at the cashier, and the cashier told her, "Ma'am, we don't have onion rings right now. We ran out." And then the woman reached over and she grabbed the cashier by her shirt and started shaking her, being like, "Give me my onion rings right now." And I could see that from the kitchen. And then the cashier, like, she was like, I wouldn't say she was scared, more angry, but she reached over to grab a drink that she was pouring for like another customer, and she like threw it on the woman, like like splashing her, right? And then the woman was mad, and then the cashier, and the woman started like fighting, basically like shoving each other, and the cashier's trying to get her out the door, and she eventually succeeds, but she's like just pushing this lady out the front door, and when the lady was out she locked it, and then she ran all the way to the other side of the restaurant and locked the other door before the woman could get there. So the woman's like screaming, and she's you know shaking her fists and whacking the windows, being like, "I want my onion rings. I want my fucking onion rings." And like all the customers and the cashiers and stuff, yeah, could see her doing that. Like you and I like poke my head out of the kitchen to like look at this woman. And then the thing is, she sees her daughter, and her daughter is still in the restaurant. Her daughter's like, she looked like she was like 8 or maybe 10. And then the woman's like, um, she doesn't seem like scared or concerned or anything yet, but she like locked her daughter in the that well, we locked her daughter in the restaurant. Instead, it's like a light bulb goes up off in her head. She's like, "Hey, wait, I have a daughter and she's locked in the restaurant. I can use this to my advantage. Since she keeps banging on the door and on the when the window is not the door, and she goes like, I want my onion rings and I want my goddamn daughter, right? And then what we did was we ended up letting the daughter out of the back door of the restaurant, so we could see the daughter like go up to the mom, and she's like kind of tugging at her shirt, being like, mommy, I'm fine, let's go. And I don't think the lady even realized the daughter was there, because she didn't even acknowledge her. She just kept on screaming, give me back my effing daughter, give me back my effing daughter and make me my goddamn onion rings. And then the thing is, police showed up, and police were like, what's going on here? And she said like, they won't make me onion rings. And that woman, the cashier, threw a drink at me and locked me out, pushed me or something like that. So the police came in, we got the door unlocked for them, and they ended up like, talking to both the woman and the cashier, saying that both of their behavior was like unacceptable. The cashier for like tossing the drink and pushing her out, and the woman for grabbing her by the shirt and like shaking her, and also the weirdness in the restaurant. And then the woman drove away, and the cashier, I think she was sent home. So that was an interesting shift. And then like after that, what happened is, well, the rest of the shift can't continue on as normal. But then when I was in the back counting the cash and registers and doing my closing stuff for the night, one of the employees was like, hey, I'm gonna take out the trash. Is that cool? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll see you next time I see you. And he went outside to take out the trash, and then he starts, and then he like, I hear him a few minutes later, well, maybe like 30 seconds later, like banging on the door. He's like, let me in, let me in, let me in. I'm like, okay. So I open up the door, let him inside, and he seems like as white as a sheet, like he's just seen like a ghost. And then I asked him what's wrong. He said, the woman from before, the onion ring lady, she's back. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, she's outside and she tried to hit me with her car. I'm like, oh my, oh Lord. So I looked at the cameras, and apparently she like hid her car behind like a bush or something, and she was there for like quite a while, just waiting for us to close. And when we closed and she saw, the guy taking out the trash, she actually like, the headlights went on, she tried to like ram him with her car. And what happened next at the matter, she was actually coming to the restaurant, I guess, to talk about about what happened. And then she sees the onion ring lady, and she saw like, what had happened, and she called the police. So the police were there, and I believe the woman was arrested after that. That was a pretty wild story. Another wild story is, I remember there's this like homeless shaman guy, like he actually said he was homeless, and he had this like staff, and he was like, I don't know if he was on something or if he's just like a bit not all there in the head, but he's like, hey, 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 if you give me some chicken strips, I'll use my powers to give you a wish. And I'm like, what? Yeah, my powers. You don't believe me, but I went to the jungle and a shaman gave me powers, and I can use those powers to give you a wish if you're pure of heart and give me some food. I'm like, okay. So I went to the back and we had some leftover chicken strips that we were gonna throw out. So I gave it to him, like, here you go. And he's like, thank you. Hey, 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 look at me, look at me. I'm gonna give you a wish. Your wish will be granted. I'm like, oh, cool. And he like winked at me like that, like with like a smile on his face. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Um, Another one with in the same location actually with a homeless lady. We think she had something not right with her because she'd sit at the restaurant for hours with like her phone and she'd be like talking to somebody saying like I'm talking to my business partner about business stuff and the phone was never on, like she was clearly not talking to anybody. Anyway, this one time, there was this cashier that worked there who just hated this woman. Like, she just despised her. And what happened is the cashier was like ignoring her, being like, "You don't have any money. You can't, pay for any food." And the woman was like, "I do have money. I do. You have to pay attention to me." And she's like, "No, no, no, you don't. I know you." And then like the cashier turned around to like talk to me about something, and then the homeless lady, she picked up a napkin dispenser, just chucked it at the cashier's head, and it smashed against the wall. It's like I didn't see it happen, but I saw the smashed napkin dispenser on the floor, and I heard the crash. And then the cashier returned her, and she like freaked out, or basically like threw temper tantrum at her, basically going like, "What did you do? Why did you do that? This is why no one likes you, and you don't have a job or money. Get out!" And then the woman like ran. I remember that. That was a weird moment. Very, very strange moment. Let's just speed it up a little bit. And that's my reaction video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe.